Britt here. If you had an abortion, this is why you love people who hurt you. It didn't start with him. The moment you found yourself crying on the bathroom floor after yet another fight, questioning your very own sanity, apologizing for things you didn't do, hoping if you just loved harder, things would get better. That didn't start with him. That moment where you caught yourself staring at the phone, waiting for a message that would never come, while replaying every conversation in your head to figure out what you did wrong, that didn't start with him either. You might think the heartbreak began with the first time he raised his voice, or the first time he made you feel like you were too much and not enough all at once. But the truth is, this story started long before him. It started the moment that you learned love had to be earned. And if you've had an abortion in your past, chances are that your identity was shifted into somebody that deserved treatment that was less than what God had for you. It started the moment that your identity told you your needs were too big, that your emotions made you a difficult person, and that staying quiet made things safer. That if you were good enough, patient enough, forgiving enough, then maybe, just maybe, you'd finally feel loved the way you needed. It started when your nervous system was trained not to feel safe in love, but to feel anxious, alert, and responsible for everyone else's peace. And when that kind of pattern gets wired in deep, your heart doesn't chase what feels safe. It chases what it feels it deserves. It chases what feels familiar. So no, it didn't start with him, but it might be ending with him. Because today we're not just going to talk about toxic relationships, we're going to talk about the blueprint that taught you to stay in them. We're going to walk back to where the wound began so we can rewrite the story from the inside out. Because loving people who hurt you doesn't mean you're broken. It means your identity was trained to mistake pain for connection. And once you see that clearly, you can choose something different. So let me tell you a story. I worked with a woman named Sarah, not her real name, who once said, "Every man I date ends up treating me like I'm disposable." She wasn't being dramatic. Her last relationship ended with her being ghosted after 4 years. No closure, no goodbye. And when we started unpacking her story, she told me something almost in passing. I don't know. She said, "I guess I'm used to having to prove my worth." It was very interesting that she was ghosted and she realized that she was treated like she was disposable because her identity after abortion made her feel like she disposed of another life. So maybe she was also worth being disposable. This isn't the easiest conversation to have. It's often true after abortion that women walk through choosing people who hurt us. And choosing to love someone who hurts you is a tough road. It's a tough journey. I've walked it. And leaving a situation like that may have saved my life. And it felt like I was ripping my own arm out at the time. I had loved that person so deeply, so long, so intensely. But in my case, this person chose to keep drinking when I made it clear I didn't want any alcohol, any addiction in my world going forward. So I made the choice to walk away. And in that case, that was the father of my first baby who I chose to abort. Because at the time, my fear seemed greater than what seemed to be easily disposable. Now, in Sarah's case, we went through a process that helped her reshape her identity. So she knew that she wouldn't have to earn love anymore, that she deserved love as a child of God. And that's when the light bulb hit. You see, she had been trained to equate love with effort, with needing to earn it, with achievement, with earning her place in someone else's life. So even though her adult mind knew she deserved better, her nervous system didn't agree. It was still hijacked from the time she had her abortion. Then she decided she didn't stay in painful relationships. So when we chose abortion, we chose a set of circumstances we didn't consciously choose. But our body, our identity, our subconscious knew what happened. If any part of that pain feels familiar to you, if you've ever loved someone who made you feel small, confused, guilty, or invisible, this video is your mirror. Not to shame you. I never shame or blame or judge anyone or enter into a religious or political conversation around the topic of abortion. That's not why I'm here. I am here because there are millions of us who were told that there are no consequences to abortion. We believe that lie, that ending a pregnancy is like getting rid of bronchitis or a cold, and that there'd be no consequences. That's not the truth. And it hijacked our identity to believe that we were worth less than what God had for us. And again, this may not be conscious. I'm just bringing to your awareness something that may have been beneath the surface or that maybe you've never even heard before to help with your freedom. That's why I'm here. Now, in Sarah's case, what she may have been calling love might have actually been something called a trauma bond. And naming it is the beginning of breaking it. As one of my mentors says, if you can see it, you can free it. So before we go any further, I want you to pause and breathe. If you're in a situation like this, you're not crazy, you're not broken, you're not dumb, and you're not weak. You're someone who learned how to survive love in the only way you knew how. But survival is not the same as connection. And because you made a choice, this is the moment where you can choose to stop surviving and start healing. So let's walk this together. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm so grateful you're here and hope that you join our community of fabulous, amazing, safe women. So I would love it if you would share your heart in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond. And in case no one told you today, remember, you're beloved.